Welcome back to the deep dive. We're doing something a little different today.
Yeah.
Usually we're looking at, reports on the economy or tech, the world out there.
Right?
But today we are looking inside at the mechanism of the world in here.
The human mind.
We've got a stack of clinical papers and case studies that explain what actually happens when a therapist, closes the door, sits down, and starts a session.
It's the black box of the medical world, isn't it?
Totally.
You walk in, you talk, and hopefully you feel better. But the actual engineering of how that happens is a mystery to most people.
Exactly. And the sources we're covering today argue it is definitely not just chatting.
No.
There is a hidden engine running in the background. It's called case conceptualization.
And the main analogy in the literature is that it's a bridge.
A bridge, yes. I loved that.
On one side of the river, you have the assessment, all the raw data, the problems.
And on the other side,
You have the treatment, the actual fixing. But if you don't build that bridge of understanding in the middle, you're just guessing.
and the sources say this is the #1 trap for new counselors.
Oh, absolutely. The premature solution error. A client comes in and says, I'm anxious.
And the rookie therapist immediately goes to, okay, have you tried breathing exercises?
Right. But because they skip the why, the conceptualization, they might miss that the anxiety is really a symptom of something else.
Like a medical condition. Or, I don't know, hidden trauma.
Exactly. You can't fix what you haven't mapped out first.
Okay, so let's look at that map. The gold standard for gathering this intel seems to be something called the biopsychosocial model.
It is. It goes all the way back to George Engel in the 1970s.
Why is it still the baseline? That's 50 years ago.
Because it forced medicine to stop acting like car mechanics?
The part is broken, fix the part.
Exactly. Engel argued you can't understand a human being without looking at 3 domains at the same time. And it's theory-free. You don't have to be a Freudian to use it. It's just a scanner.
So let's run the scanner. 3 domains: biological, psychological, and sociocultural.
Think of it like a computer. You start with the biological. That's the hardware.
Is it plugged in? Is it overheating?
Exactly. We're looking at sleep, diet, medications, caffeine intake. If someone hasn't slept in 3 days, they will present as psychotic.
But they're not. They're just exhausted.
A hardware problem.
Then you move on to the psychological, the software.
This is the internal programming, right?
Right.
Personality, trauma history, coping skills. We also do what's called a mental status examination.
Which is like, what?
It's basically checking the operating system. Are they oriented to time and place? Is memory intact?
You're checking for glitches. And the third one, sociocultural, the network.
You cannot treat a person in a vacuum. We exist in a web.
So we're talking about family, work, finances.
Religion, culture, legal problems, everything. If a client's depressed, but they're also facing bankruptcy, an antidepressant alone isn't going to fix that.
It's like trying to dry off while you're still standing in the rain.
Perfect analogy.
The part of the reading that really clicked for me was that these aren't separate buckets. They bleed into each other.
Constantly. It's a feedback loop.
Yeah.
Let's say you have a biological issue, a chronic migraine.
Okay.
That pain makes you psychologically irritable. That irritability causes a sociocultural strain. You snap at your spouse,
And then the stress from the fight makes your blood pressure go up.
which makes the migraine worse.
Yeah.
Around and around it goes.
So the therapist's job isn't just to list facts. It's to find the arrows, to see what's driving what.
Precisely. You're looking for causation.
Okay, theory is great, but we promise a deep dive into how this actually works. We have a file here, a case study on a man named Jake.
Jake is a perfect example of this. On paper, he looks like he has it all.
Right. He's 34, mechanical engineer, married to Angela, 2 kids.
Luke, who's 10, and Celia, who's 7. But when he walks into that office,
He's a complete wreck. The biological and psychological domains are just flashing red.
he has extreme anxiety, insomnia, he's losing weight.
But what's interesting is how it's coming out socially. He's not withdrawn. He's become controlling.
Yes, aggressive,
Yeah.
micromanaging his wife and kids to an extreme degree.
And this is where the detective work of conceptualization kicks in, because this didn't just happen overnight.
No, there was a specific trigger, an event that happened about 10 weeks before he came to therapy,
The car incident.
the car incident. His 2 kids, Luke and Celia, were playing in the family car, in the driveway,
And they accidentally knocked it out of park.
and the car rolled down the driveway and into the street.
Oh my God. Was anyone hurt?
No, the car just stopped. The kids were totally fine. It was a scare, but for most people, that's it.
A teaching moment.
Right, don't do that again. But for Jake, it was like the end of the world. It sent him into a spiral.
And this is where the biopsychosocial assessment digs up the why.
Yes. Because if you only treat the driveway incident, you are missing the ghost in the machine.
You have to look at the history.
You have to. And it turns out, when Jake was 10 years old, the exact same age his son is now, he and his twin sister, Justine, were playing in their father's car.
No.
They rolled it into the street. But this time, a semi-truck hit the car.
Oh, gosh.
Jake was physically fine, but his sister Justine suffered a severe, permanent cognitive impairment.
She never recovered.
She never recovered.
So it's a reenactment. The universe just staged a play of the worst day of his life right in his own driveway.
Exactly. The trauma was dormant, but the trigger, his own son at the same age doing the same thing, it just woke it all up.
And it confirmed this deep-seated belief he must have had.
I am dangerous. I cannot protect the people I love.
So let's apply the model. Biologically, we see the fallout. He's in fight or flight mode, high cortisol, can't sleep.
Which is just pouring fuel on the psychological fire. He's got immense guilt. He keeps telling the therapist, it's all my fault. And he's talking about both accidents at once.
He has flashbacks, hypervigilance.
And we also see a biological predisposition. The notes say he took Luvox, an anti-anxiety med, back when he was 23.
Yeah.
So his system is kind of wired for this.
And the sociocultural domain. That's where all the collateral damage is happening. I really felt for his wife, Angela.
It's a tragic dynamic. Her personality is that of a caretaker. She grew up caring for a disabled sister, so she's naturally patient.
But Jake is pushing her to the limit.
He's demanding she homeschool the kids. He yells at them if they play too roughly. He's trying to suffocate the family to soothe his own anxiety.
And there's a religious friction, too.
A mismatch. He's agnostic, a man of science and logic. She's Episcopalian. She leans on faith and community. So in a crisis, they're not speaking the same emotional language.
And the kids are picking up on all of it.
Oh, absolutely. The son, Luke, is acting out. And their 7-year-old daughter, Celia, has started getting these psychosomatic stomach aches to get out of school.
There's that loop again. Jake's psychological trauma is causing his daughter's biological illness.
Exactly. So we have the map. We understand the bridge. Now, before treatment, we need a label. We need a diagnosis.
Okay, this part of the source material really surprised me because I think in pop culture, we throw these terms around.
We do.
I looked at Jake flashbacks, anxiety, obsession with safety, and I immediately thought, okay, PTSD or OCD.
And according to the strict rules of the DSM-5-TR, you'd be wrong on both counts. This is where that clinical precision is so important.
So walk us through the rule-outs. Why not generalized anxiety disorder, GAD?
Duration. It's that simple. For a GAD diagnosis, the symptoms have to be there for at least 6 months.
And Jake's only been spiraling for 10 weeks.
Right. He doesn't meet the time requirement.
Okay. So what about PTSD? He has the trauma, he has the flashbacks. It seems like a perfect fit.
It's the closest. But the notes highlight that his distress isn't consistent enough.
What does that mean?
He has periods where he actually functions pretty well. He's on the edge of the PTSD criteria, but a careful clinician would hesitate to apply that label just yet.
And OCD, all the checking behaviors.
But again, it's tied to a specific recent event. OCD is usually a much more long-standing, chronic pattern of rituals. Jake is reacting to a shock. He's not acting out a lifelong compulsion.
That's all, it's the verdict.
Adjustment disorder with anxiety.
Adjustment disorder. I have to be honest, that sounds minor.
It sounds mild, I know, like he's having a hard time after moving apartments.
Yeah.
But clinically, it's a very useful diagnosis. It means a reaction to a stressor that is disproportionate to the event and causes significant impairment. It validates his suffering without maybe giving him a lifelong label he doesn't need.
Okay, so we have the diagnosis. Now we need a plan. The sources outline a pretty standard 4-step treatment plan.
Yep. Step 1, define the problems. You just list them out. Anxiety, guilt, marital conflict.
Step 2, goals. You just flip the problem.
Exactly. Reduce anxiety, process guilt, restore marital intimacy.
Step 3 is modality, the how.
And for Jake, it's a multi-pronged attack. Individual therapy for his guilt and trauma.
Couples counseling for the marriage.
And almost certainly a psychiatric consult for medication. To get that biological arousal down so he can just sleep.
And step 4, measurement. How do we know it's working?
Right. It's not just how do you feel, it's data. Is Celia back in school? Is Jake sleeping 6 hours a night? Has he stopped yelling at Luke?
You need observable metrics.
You do?
So far, this all feels very scientific, very structured, but this is where the deep dive gets really fascinating.
It's a twist.
The source material pivots to what it calls the 4 lenses.
This is everything. The biopsychosocial model is the scanner. It gets you the facts. But the lens is the philosophy.
It's how you interpret those facts.
And depending on which lens a therapist uses, Jake's treatment is going to look completely different.
So let's walk through these. Lens number one, the psychodynamic approach. This is the Freud lineage, right?
It is. If I'm a psychodynamic therapist, I care about the past. My theory is that the car accident didn't break Jake. It just revealed that he was already broken.
How so?
The theory would be that the childhood trauma stopped his emotional development. It prevented him from building a strong enough ego, a container for stress.
So he's emotionally stuck at age 10.
That's the idea. So the treatment isn't just about managing anxiety, it's about reparenting.
That sounds intense.
It is. It's long-term work. We're going back to the source. We're analyzing his attachment to his parents, to his sister. We're literally trying to rebuild his psyche from the ground up.
Wow. Okay. Lens number two, the existential humanistic approach.
A completely different universe. If I'm an existentialist, I'm not digging into his childhood mechanics. I care about his choices, his agency, the here and now.
So you're confronting him more?
Gently, yes. The theory is that Jake is suffering because he is hiding behind guilt. Guilt is passive. It says, I am a victim of my past.
And you want him to take responsibility.
Responsibility is active. I would ask him, Jake, what choices are you making right now that are hurting your family? The cure becomes the therapeutic relationship itself.
Okay, lens number three, the one everyone's heard of, CBT, cognitive behavioral therapy.
The engineer's lens. This is a great fit for someone like Jake. If I'm a CBT therapist, I'm looking for bugs in the code.
You believe his anxiety is caused by distorted thoughts?
Irrational cognitions, like, if I don't check the locks 3 times, my family will die. That thought triggers the physical, biological stress response.
So you don't spend years talking about his mom?
No. We get to work, I give him homework, we identify that thought, we put it on trial, and we replace it with a more rational one. It's very practical, very short term.
It fixes the symptoms, but I guess the question is, does it fix the underlying soul?
That is the classic criticism.
Yeah.
The existentialist would say it's just putting a bandage on a deep wound.
Which brings us to the most radical one. Lens number four, the postmodern approach.
This one flips everything on its head. The postmodern view says, Jake isn't sick. There is no pathology inside him.
What? Then what's the problem?
The problem is the story he's telling himself. He's stuck in what they call a problem-saturated narrative.
He's cast himself as the guilty protector.
And he can't get out of the role. So the treatment isn't to fix Jake. It's to edit the script.
How do you even do that?
With something like solution-focused brief therapy, I wouldn't ask about the trauma. I'd ask, tell me about a time this past week when you didn't feel anxious.
You look for the exceptions.
Right. You find the bright spots. And you build a new story from there. A story where he's a capable, loving father. It can work in just a handful of sessions.
It's wild. The same man, the same facts. One therapist wants to spend 2 years reparenting him. Another just wants to rewrite his story in a month.
And the research shows they can all work. The crucial factor isn't always the specific lens. It's the consistency and the relationship with the therapist.
So if you're the therapist, how do you know when to stop analyzing?
That's the danger. The source material ends with a warning about the law of diminishing returns.
Which means?
You can build the most beautiful, complex bridge in the world. But eventually, you have to let the client walk across it.
You can get lost in the theory.
And forget to just help the guy sleep. A great therapist might start with CBT to put out the immediate fire, get him stable.
And then, once the smoke clears,
maybe you move into some of that deeper psychodynamic work to heal that 10-year-old boy inside him. The case conceptualization is a map, not a prison.
Right.
You can change routes.
This deep dive has really changed how I view therapy. It's not just advice. It's this rigorous intersection of biology, sociology, and philosophy.
It's where science meets the soul.
So I want to leave the listener with a question today. We talked about these 4 lenses, the glasses the therapist wears to see you. If you were in Jake's chair, holding your deepest traumas, which lens would you want them to wear?
There's the question.
Do you want to be debugged? Do you want to be reparented? Or do you just want to write a new story?
Or maybe a little bit of all 3.
Thanks for joining us on the deep dive. My pleasure. We'll catch you on the next one.